Every day I wake up and wish for a fraction of the charitability that Tucker Carlson's audience gives him. I'm saying it. New Channel 5, no debate, no segue.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm not at home. I came from Kyiv. I really want to go home, but I think it won't be safe for my daughter, so we will stay somewhere here and just wait.
What do you miss most about home?
My ordinary life, you know, just to drink some coffee in my favorite cafe and to bring my daughter to the kindergarten, just normal stuff. It will never be the same as it was. Every time the siren is here, I just tell her that it's fireworks. So we need to hide because she's like 5 years old, and I don't want for her to have a trauma.
Just fireworks.
Yeah, just fireworks, loud fireworks.
Yeah.
We never know in what time Russia will send missiles or rockets to our territory. Air attack could be launched on Lviv. So now we need to go to find the nearest shelter just to hide.
We're going to a shelter now in the press building. That was genuinely pretty fucking terrifying.
Each time it's really scary, especially at the night, then you want to try to chill and sleep.
For the record, this is for a very specific purpose. Terrorism. It's the same exact reason why, even if it's enacted by a larger state entity, it's still terrorism. It is to demoralize the population and get them to submit, break their spirit, and get them to basically say, all right, fuck it, like, please end this. It is something that it's something that Western imperialist nations know very well. They do it all the time. And it is precisely what Russia is doing in this circumstance as well. Yes, I have seen the video of Ukrainians get vaporized, but I don't think that was Ukrainians. I thought that was Russians by a tank. Yes, I see it all, okay? Stop trying to get me to fucking watch this shit on stream. It was a volunteer brigade of Ukrainians? Okay.
It's a special time for me, for my city, for my country. Last month, 3 times Russia aggressor attack city Lviv.
Officials in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv say Russian missile strikes hit a fuel storage facility on the outskirts of the city.
We could see dark plumes of smoke rising into the sky.
For me, Putin equal Hitler. Russian aggressor attack Ukrainian cities every day.
Global outrage grew today as more horrific revelations surfaced from Bucha, Ukraine.
I want to warn you that the images we are about to show you, and even the descriptions of them, are graphic, disturbing, but they are the devastating reality of Putin's war on the people of Ukraine. The town's mayor saying at least 20 innocent civilians were shot in the back of the head, and that several hundred civilians are buried in the once peaceful commuter town's mass grave.
Basically, a load of the Russian troops that are around, like Kiev, Oblast, the region on the front lines there, they've pulled back. For the first time, a lot of the Ukrainian troops have like properly moved in there to see like what's happened, and they're just finding like mass graves, over 400 probably civilians, you know, old people, young people. They're finding loads of images of people with their hands tied behind their back, dead in the street. It's like it's probably an execution, right? So it's looking like there was a massacre.
All world must isolate Russia. Next 50 years. Russia
is Popular Front some Nazi org? What the fuck? Wait, no, dude. What are you talking about? No, it's Jake Hanrahan. They're leftists. No. First of all, it's called Popular Front. What do you think Popular Front is? Not Patriot Front. Popular Front. Where do you think that comes from? No, they're leftists. I wouldn't call them leftists, but they're cool. I mean, they're anarchists. That Jake guy tweeted a few days ago that he'd like to be on your show. Yeah, I'd have him on.
It is Nazi country.
Headshot. Українці, розстрілюємо Путіна. Не сором промахнутися. Сором не стрельнути. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Сюди, оцей. Супер. 20% цього прибутку йде на фонд «Повертайся живим». Так, якщо маєте можливість, можете на фонд «Повертайся живим» скинути любу, бо тут нема праці. Можете опозоритись.
how did it feel to do that?
Трошки на душі стало легше. Я надію, кількість цих куль поросте в настоящі, і ми її побачимо.
Bro, he's literally fucking responding to someone. Jake used to block me. Like, he blocked me preemptively many, many years ago. And someone literally here is like, I think you haven't investigated what Hasan is about. He barely touches Turkish politics. In my knowledge, he despises all parties in Turkey. Probably doesn't have an opinion on YPJ stuff for his curious family that lives there. Seems you've fallen for the image of the haters Hasan presents. He even had Steven Donziger on stream. Okay, get me on the show and I'll do it. Jake is the person that Andrew linked up with. Hamas reported Ukraine won't take their KIA soldiers, so they bury them there, and later they can claim, look, mass graves. What? That's insane. I did report that Ukrainians destroyed a massive massive Russian ship on the coast of Black Sea. Okay. What that other chatter said, I actually believe that. There's too much Western propaganda. Dude, you guys are fucking crazy, man. Look, is there Western propaganda? Of course. Is it slanted towards propping up stories from the Ukrainian side? Of course. Do you think that, like, Russia didn't invade Ukraine, though? Like, what do you think is going to happen when Russia invades Ukraine? What do you think is going to happen? Of course there's going to be fucking bodies everywhere. Mass graves. I don't know why people turn into, like, literal fucking reactionary conservatives, but for Russia. And it's fucking annoying. If you claim to take down a specific cruiser that's easy to disprove, no, the Russian, no one is saying Russia didn't invade. Okay. Why do you think we're against America invading countries? Why? It's stupid to just agree with the NATO line that Russia is committing mass genocide with mobile crematoriums. War is horrific and civilians are dying just like the U.S. butchered Iraqis. Is the same thing. War. Exactly. That is my take. The mass crematorium shit is, I've told you from day one, it's like, that's silly. The mobile crematoriums are not an effective means of burning enough and hiding enough bodies, first of all. But also, it seems a lot like people want to act like, people want to fucking do the memes, like the IDF style memes of like, oh, we're the most moral army. The Russians are the most moral army, the most moral military. You know what I mean? Like, in the same way that the IDF claims that they're the most moral military when they bomb the shit out of Gaza. We were a reactionary conservative too till like 5 days after the war. I hope that you have a pathetic existence. You continue to have a pathetic, fucking, sad, little, miserable existence. You dumb fuck. Not sucking on whatever the fuck CNN is telling you every goddamn day is not the same as having a reactionary approach, you fucking idiot. You stupid, dumb bitch. I was covering every fucking angle, especially, most importantly, what the Ukrainians were saying. Dude, he may have been joking and worried about the positivity arc. No, that person wasn't joking. Stop being charitable to fucking uncharitable pieces of shit. Okay. Shut the fuck up, everyone. The reason why I am, and I hope you guys are, against war from a principled position is because people die senselessly. There is an insane amount of bloodshed. What you see, the images that you see out of Bucha are real. There are actual real people, including civilians, that either died as a consequence of artillery fire or directly shot. This is psychotic to just like make it seem like, oh, well, it was an accident. It was collateral damage. Like as though that absolves Russia from any kind of fucking wrongdoing. Oh, okay. Well, it was directional and it was an unintended target. Who cares? When Barack Obama says, sorry, we blew up a hospital in Kunduz, that was, unintentional. Do you think that that's an appropriate fucking thing to say? No. Because the best way to avoid that is by not invading at all. And part of the reason why Bucha is fucking real is because of the way that Russia scrambled with respect to how they wanted to deal with the propaganda. And I understand why. It's hard to reflexively believe what the fuck is coming out of Western media. And there is certainly an element of propagandizing because especially, we know what America's interests are. That's why, while, for example, Emmanuel Macron, which is a negotiator, a principal negotiator in the ongoing peace talks, refuses to say that Russia is engaging in genocide, Joe Biden can say that because Americans don't care. Americans are already gearing up for Ukraine to continue fighting Russia for the next however many years. That's why they had every fucking executive from Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman this past week over at the White House to continue to try to figure out how they can continue to arm Ukraine for the next multiple years if this war continues. That all is how you make money. That's how America makes money. And America is not interested in a ceasefire. And America is not interested in trying to make concessions or tell Zelensky to make concessions. But having said that, Russia's side in this is in no way, shape, or form honest. It's incredibly violent. So stop trying to fucking act like what is going on in Bucha. Like, think about Russia as America. If you really want to adequately criticize it, I guess this is what I say to all the dumbasses who refuse to recognize America's brutality. I always say, like, I always use the Russian example of imperialism as a way for them to comprehend how devastating American imperialism is when we do it to fucking brown countries. Okay? So I'm using that same for you. Okay? Criticize Russia as aggressively as you would criticize America. Because they're doing some straight up American style imperialism right now. And I say that because I think that is the worst kind of brutality you can engage in. It's not whataboutism. It's a way for you to learn a lesson. Straight up verbatim, they're copying our fucking flow. Stop calling everything a stun lock either, by the way. Holy shit. Like, I'm a fucking... I'm content creator that cover... I'm a political commentator, you know? This is my job, is to be stun locked this way. All right, let's continue.
Бачимо, мавзолей або десь закопаний під бетоном. На даний момент ми займаємося гуманітарною допомогою. Якщо мене армія призве, звичайно, я готовий. Ми гуманітарно допомагаємо, там фонд час повернись живим, також перераховуємо кошти.
I guess for, a lot of people, they can't be on the front or whatever, but this is their way of donating, this is their way of helping. Everyone is doing something. It's really interesting to see. It's like a community effort, across the whole country.
So it was my place where I usually walked after Russia invaded in Ukraine. This place closed for climbing, but it opened for taking refugees here. We are still helping them each day. Do you want some question for him?
Yeah, sure. What's your name?
Як тебе звати?
Do you like to climb?
America didn't kill 30,000 civilians in 2 weeks, though? Who cares, you fucking idiot? What do you mean? Oh, that's the number? Is that when it's like fucking, is that when it's appropriate? How much death is appropriate for you? Stop mercilessly and senselessly trying to wash America's hands, America's bloody hands, with Ukrainian bloodshed. You stupid fuck. You are disgusting. Actually disgusting, dude. What the fuck? Dick riding America for free. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, it's literally free for you to not dick ride America.
Climb? What's your favorite animal?
Mason.
Mason? So, you have a cat called Mason.
Is that Mason? Mason. All right. Mason's a little bit camera shy. What do you want to be when you grow up?
А потом полицейским. Я хотел маме купить машину, когда вырасту.
He want to buy a car for his mother and to himself.
Взрыв будет, и я буду сам ехать.
Меня зовут Ольга, мы приехали из города Бахмут, Донецкой области. Мы с вечера собрались и уже до крайней точки Львов. Сдаться в ближайшее время, а дальше посмотрим, будет видно как.
Would you prefer to return home or would you like to immigrate into a different country?
Хотелось бы вернуться домой. Естественно, мы скучаем по дому, как развернутся все эти события, и будет ли дома, будет ли куда возвращаться, и если действительно будут какие-то сложные ситуации в плане возврата домой. Какое-то время было спокойно в городе, потом какой-то день в центр города прилетело сразу несколько ракет. Мне стало страшно за ребенка, за себя, семью, и мы приняли решение выехать.
How do you explain what's going on to your son?
Когда это было далеко от нас, и комендантский час, и так далее, он видел в городе военных и военную технику. Он задавал вопросы, почему они здесь.
In real quick. Make sure that I don't fuck this up.
Не внедрялась в подробности, не вникала.
Do you like staying here?
Мне тут нравится, я тут только на канате таком, на этой... На мате бегал, прыгал.
Good in this situation.
Well, I'm glad you were able to bring Mason with you.
Обязательно в любом случае мы бы не оставили его дома без присмотра. Он полноценный член нашей семьи.
Out of the more than 4 million people who fled Ukraine, over 2.3 million are now in Poland.
14. Yeah, 14. I came off Kryvyi Rih, it's the center of Ukraine. My little brother and my aunt came to Peremyshel with me. And
Probably watching Dream SMP, dude.
Like very scared because my dad is in Kryvyi Rih. Yeah, it's scary situation, very scary situation.
What do you miss most about home?
My friends, my 4 best friends in Hungary, in Slovenia, in Ireland, and I haven't connected with them.
If you had to pick one friend that you wished you were with right now, which friend would it be?
I think like Dima. In my school, he sit back for me. He is quite funny and he's like, he can smile me, all of them. I want to hear his jokes of teachers and like, I want to usual life.
Декілька днів тому приходило по 6 потягів, і можна легко порахувати, що кожний потяг вміщував по 3 тисячі осіб.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that refugees face whenever they get from Ukraine to Poland?
Така, що люди приїжджають в чужу державу і не можуть зорієнтуватися. Кожен боїться за своє життя, за своїх дітей. Дуже дивно те, що, наприклад, українці в Російській Федерації живе коло більше 5 мільйонів осіб всебічного освітлення цієї війни, і тому рахують, що російська армія робить правильно.
In Russia, Vladimir Putin's approval rating is soaring despite his disastrous invasion of Ukraine.
It's now above 80%.
Киев никто не бомбит. Я этому не верю.
Because no one is bombing Kyiv, I don't believe it. Putin couldn't do this. Invade Ukraine? Why? There
Every
are
day,
people living
Russian
there.
state television accuses the West of fake news over Ukraine.
Это Зеленский все делает.
It's all on Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the Americans.
Я за Путина.
Я хочу вам показать несколько...
Я за Путина.
Я поняла.
Даже не буду смотреть фотографии.
One of their claims
I
is
will
that
not
the
look at
bodies
photos.
in these photos lying on the ground, these apparently dead bodies, were placed there.
Yeah, that's the common, like, even motherfuckers out here do that as well. That's the common, like, oh, they're fake news. Like, the bodies are fake. Because the bodies can't be real. Just like the war can't be real. Because Ukrainians and Russians are one people. Why would you kill your brothers and sisters like that? Why would you kill your brothers and sisters like that in order to keep up your approval rating and in order to make sure that this is like a justifiable conquest? You hide the truth. MAGA people do that. Let's be real. I mean, reactionaries do that. Yes. Conservatives do that. Yes. And isn't Bucha is a false flag psychos get banned off Twitch recently? I don't know. Chatters who get mad for normal Russians saying this should look back at what we were saying immediately after 9/11. Or, I mean, Iraq. Like, think about the justification for the Iraq war from so many Americans.
By Ukrainian radicals, as they're called, or Nazis.
So I think I've seen this before. What is this flyer right here?
So ATOB Azov Battalion is neo-fascist battalion here in Ukraine. They've been going since the start of the revolution, so 2014.
The group was known to have ties to neo-Nazi movements, and its leader was even quoted once as saying Ukraine's purpose was to, quote, lead the white races of the world.
To Russian President Vladimir Putin, their far-right politics a justification to claim that Ukraine needs to be denazified.
Not to say that they're not there, they're fighting right now in Mariupol. You know, they've been basically defending that city along with the Ukraine Marines. But they make out like that's everybody and everybody believes in it sort of thing. There's a real problem where people either like just deny it exists or they emphasize on it too much. And really they don't have much influence like politically. So, you know, when Russia was saying they're a Nazi junta, it's like, well, then they're the worst one that ever happened because Zelensky, who was a Jew, who some of his family died in the Holocaust under the Nazis, he got 73% of the vote in a country of 44 million. I think what you have to do is look at Russia. So Russia has a much more serious Nazi problem. And there's a lot of evidence that they're connected to the FSB, Russian internal intelligence services. So they have a problem. Siren.
Should we go to a shelter or something?
Yeah, we should probably go to a shelter, yeah. If we want to get a look at the other side of things that isn't reported as much, we could go and talk to the anarchists. They're doing aid. They're taking stuff all over Ukraine. They're not making a big noise about it, but they're doing it not just to anarchist groups, to any soldiers that need it, you know.
How will the Nazi influence grow? Well, yes, that's 100%. I mean, but again, that's on Putin. That's on America too. Damn, you said the same shit as this guy? It's not just the Azov battalion either, but at this point, look, at this point, it doesn't even fucking matter. There's nothing you can do about it. Once Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, it's a wrap. It's a complete fucking wrap. After that, it's over. If Zelensky was worried about more reactionary forces influencing his policy decisions and whatnot, if Zelensky was influenced by how much, as his defense minister said, even in the lead up to Russia invading Ukraine, if he was worried about like nationalist sentiments holding root and growing before, then it's so much. I mean, it's so much more prominent after this. You have Zelensky from 2019, where he goes to the east and his far right groups refuse to de-escalate. It looked like he wasn't in full control of his military, at least not in the separatist zone. At this point, it doesn't matter. You know, all you can do. You said the same shit and people got so mad at you, you called you pro-Russia or pro-Azov. I know. Well, it's because people aren't charitable. Listen, didn't the Azov party do so poorly in elections they had to disband? No, the Azov battalion in and of itself is somewhat linked to Svoboda, which is the far-right nationalist party, but there are numerous other far-right brigades as well on top of the Azov battalion, and there's a lot of nationalistic sentiment in Ukraine, some of which is literally baked into Ukrainian freedom away from Russia. This is the reason why I've said since the beginning that it's a fucking, it's just a powder keg waiting to fucking explode. Azov is also the region, obviously. But just like the Taliban grew in influence and prominence after the American invasion of Afghanistan, the same will happen to nationalist forces within Ukraine. By your logic, every country that the U.S. invade or bomb or attack have the right to retribute itself? What were you trying to say? I don't even know what you were trying to say there, but that's how blowback happens. I said before the invasion, if Russia invaded, Azov would get all the fame and support while the anarchists would die on the front lines. Look, right to retribution is what he's saying. It's called blowback, for the record, or retaliation. But yeah, there's a word for it. It's called blowback, and it happens a lot. It's most likely going to happen here as well. Taliban are utterly unlike the nationalists in the Ukraine. This is a false equivalency, brother. What? Let's be clear. There was the largest protest in the history in the U.S. against the Iraq War. Not necessarily. The Taliban are utterly unlike the nationalists. Hey, dummy. In America, you can protest without like scrutiny of going to jail for 15 fucking years. They've literally codified it in Russia, and 5,000 people still got arrested. Shut the fuck up, maybe. Okay? What's the difference between the Taliban and the Azov battalion? I would love to hear what you have to tell me on that. No. Explain to me what the difference is. I think your initial take of Ukraine becoming like Afghanistan is spot on. Just replace the Taliban with Azov. That's precisely what I've been saying since day one. And that's what liberals say too. But liberals, when they say Ukraine is Russia's Afghanistan, just like Afghanistan was Russia's Afghanistan, what they mean is they don't give a fuck about the Ukrainians living in Ukraine, which is now turning into Afghanistan. That's the difference. I don't think we should fight. I don't think we should fight down to every last Ukrainian. But a lot of Americans, they don't care. A lot of people in the West don't care. Shaming Russians for not protesting is dumb. Even Moldovan Mama Liga is like dunking on it. Shaming Russians for not protesting is dumb. Rus cops ruin lives just for that. Yeah. Religious extremism is different. Religion extremism is the difference. Oh, you're just a fucking edgy atheist. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, no, the Azov are famously, the Azov battalion famously they're just nationalists. They're just Nazis. They're not, Muslim, which is way worse, right? That's what you're trying to say? That's cool. You literally just said the difference between the Azov battalion and Taliban is that one's white and one's not. That's it. That's all you said. But it was cool that you left it out. I mean, you let that out. Plus, there's plenty of like other kinds of extremism within the Azov battalion. Regardless, it's not even just the Azov battalion. It's, nationalistic, fascist attitudes. White supremacist organizations and Islamic fundamentalist organizations operate very similarly. They even target similar demographics for recruitment and recruit in similar ways. Yes, And also, they both get funding from the United States of America. The main difference there, however, is that oftentimes the Nazis don't actually attack the United States, which they consider to be a white supremacist nation, whereas the United States will then turn on the same Islamic fundamentalists and extremists that they once armed and trained. But it's virtually indistinguishable, the making of a Christian Taliban in Ukraine. My girlfriend is Ukrainian and tells me that Azov Battalion isn't even supported by the majority of citizens in the country. They don't hold these ideals either. Focusing on them so much isn't helping anyone except Russia. I agree, which is why I think it's fucking disgusting that the Western media routinely, exclusively relies almost on Azov Battalion information, whitewashing the Azov Battalion, making it seem like all the military gains that are being done are not by the Ukrainian forces, but instead of Azov Battalion, which is really fucked up and really gross. It's us being gross and fucked up, okay? That's what's incredibly fucking frustrating, is that we are doing exactly the same shit. The Brave Mujahideen 2.0, once again, we are the ones who are glorifying them. We are the ones who are legitimizing them. We are the ones who are constantly going back and forth and advocating for their existence. And that is the problem, okay? Literally, there are probably a million other fucking Ukrainians that the media could be, interviewing, and yet Azov Battalion Nazis always are like the first ones to rush to the microphone. It's really fucked up. It's incredibly fucked up. And if you think that that doesn't play a role in the way that that kind of attitude is normalized, and also simultaneously grossly inflate their military gains and make it seem like they are the ones who are fucking bravely defending Ukraine and no one else, it's really fucked up if you can't understand how that is going to have long-term consequences. Are the Azov Battalion just a lot more media hungry than the other soldiers? They're Nazis, chatter. That's what they do. They're very good. They're very good at, first of all, they're the most combat hardened. That's one. They're the ones who are conducting the training for territorial defense. That's two. And most importantly, they love being in front of fucking cameras. They're media ready. Why? Because they are backed by ideology, okay? They have ideological purpose. That's profoundly important when you're trying to do something beyond just the immediate combat that you're engaging in. Oh, you just said they're Nazis, they're very good? Yeah, no, like they're very good at being media demons, yes. And they will speak English too. Nazis are media fiends. How the fuck do you not know this by now? They will sneak into every little orifice and do anything and everything they can. We're being baited to talk about Azov for 2 hours so people can clip it. I know. Even then, I'm not even talking about fucking... Even then, I'm not even talking about it in the way that they would want me to talk about it, but let's continue.
So that's another part of this thing.
Before the war, I worked as a tour guide in a history museum. 10-20 kilometers from Bucha, Irpin areas, I used to cycle in that areas a lot. It's fucked up. If Russians occupy it, they will kill off every politically active person, no matter of his political views. The side which really needs denazifying right now, in my opinion, is Russia.
Why are, Nazis fighting with leftists on the front lines?
If the fight is lost, there will be no one left. No right wing, left wing, it will be eradicated.
Ну і власне в них достатньо ресурсів для того, щоб розповсюджувати цю фейкову інформацію на весь світ, і в тому числі є багато західних медіа, які прислуховуються до Росії.
The Kremlin views Tucker Carlson's commentary as, quote, essential in its wartime messaging strategy. That is according to a leaked 12-page memo from a Russian government agency to the Russian media.
What is this really about? Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist? Did he manufacture a worldwide pandemic that wrecked my business and kept me indoors for 2 years? Is he trying to snuff out Christianity? Does he eat dogs? Is he making fentanyl? These are fair questions, and the answer to all of them...
These are fair questions. They're so fair, dude. I love this video. God, fucking Tucker Carlson is just such a psycho. Every day, I wake up and wish for a fraction of the charitability that Tucker Carlson's audience gives him that I could maybe get from my haters, okay? Just a fraction. Not even just from his haters. Like, the fact that he can get away with saying this on the most popular fucking televised news broadcast, and I can't even fucking talk about, like, anything Russia or Ukraine related without a million people shoving just words up my asshole every day being like, you love fucking Putin, you love Putin, or you love Azov, you're supporting Azov, or whatever the fuck. It blows my mind. This motherfucker could literally just be like, Vladimir Putin never called me a racist. What's going on? And still have the top-rated news show every fucking day. There's nothing you pathetic little twerps can do about it, too. He can just do the 14 words every goddamn night. And none of you fucking internet limp dick losers can do a single goddamn thing about it. Which is why you come in here and try to put words in my fucking mouth. Go deal with Tucker Carlson, dumbass. Do something that's actually valuable. Try to get him off the fucking air, idiot. What the fuck is wrong with you? This is why it's like incredibly frustrating to me when I see so many of these fucking supposedly fucking left-leaning social democrat idiotic debate bros in here all the fucking time. You're not doing this for a reason. You're not doing this for any sort of moral goal. You're doing this because you want a reaction. Your only interest in politics is just what kind of reaction you can get out of one parasocial content creator that you have a parasocial relationship with versus another parasocial content creator that you want to have a parasocial relationship with. That's it. That's the only way that you can analyze politics and the news. Looks like Ukrainians know better about what Russians or Putin would do or want. Such a bullshit propaganda. What do you mean? The discourse that people are criticizing the Nazis too much legitimate? No, it's bullshit. That's a bullshit fucking take. From day one, first thing I fucking tweeted after Russia invaded Ukraine was, this is going to fucking have horrifying long-term consequences. A lot of bloodshed in the immediate, and then horrifying long-term consequences that revolve around the emboldening and the legitimization of Nazis, because nationalism is seen as an emancipatory force for good. And that's exactly what's going on. If Russia had never fucking invaded Ukraine, maybe things would be different. I don't know. Probably not. Because they were already incredibly fucking, they were already very much firmly planted in the front lines and had a lot of influence on what happens, or they had a lot of bullying power, I guess. And the reason why they had a lot of power like that beyond their actual immediate tiny fucking battalion was because America was backing them. But now it's too late. The U.S. should arm or not Ukraine, in this opinion. The U.S. arming in a justifiable world, the U.S. arming should be one that is conditional on allowing Ukraine to have an upper hand in the negotiation process. If they know for a fact that they can't fucking wipe out Russian forces, the continuation of bloodshed is ridiculous. They've done a good job thus far. They've pushed the Russian forces back, but they keep fucking agitating from afar, the Americans. They keep saying like, no, we'll just keep giving you guns. There's a legitimate interest amongst Ukrainians to purge out and fight down to every last Ukrainian. And that's a bargain that Americans are willing to make, especially because it sells a lot of weapons that way. If this war continues for 4 years, 5 years, that's 4 years, 5 years worth of weapons. The destruction of a foreign adversary. It's a gigantic win-win. Complete evisceration of their geopolitical power. I want it to end, but the weapons are donated, not sold. Yeah, famously, weapons get materialized out of the blue, and it's not a justification for the defense contractors to get more guns to refill their inventory and donated, he says. Yeah, with our tax dollars, for the record. How would you grade the West's overall response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine? I think it's been terrible. I think it's been absolutely horrible. It doesn't even matter, though, ultimately. All that matters is what America has to say in this situation. Just like all that matters is what Russia, or what Vladimir Putin specifically, has to say in this situation. It's a two-pronged battle. And once again, as always, just the fucking regular old citizens are stuck in the middle. Every time, I said this like the day that they stepped foot inside of, I think it was Donbass. They said that they were going to fucking put troops inside of Donbass. Every time an imperialist or irredentist power decides to encroach upon a smaller nation, the most right-wing nationalist elements are seen as emancipatory forces, willing to do the violence necessary for liberation, a dangerous prospect for Ukraine stuck between the West and Russia. Also, it's laughable to think that Russia has any valid liberating claims here. Bombing Western Ukrainian military positions to defend LPR and DPR is just USA-style bullshit propaganda, almost as bad as claiming Ukraine started shelling more in Donbass when there's 200,000 troops at the border. Yeah, for some in NATO, it's better for the Ukrainians to keep fighting and dying than to achieve a peace that comes too early. This started back in 2014, though, not this year. The cat was out of the bag way before. It started back in 2014 in a way different way. If you consider what's going on now to be similar, then you are out of your fucking mind. Russia engaged in a proxy war in a similar capacity to what America is trying to do now with Ukraine. Russia engaged in a proxy war with the Ukrainian state. Ukraine had no military. Ukraine had nothing. Ukraine had no fucking power, no standing army, nothing whatsoever. So what the entirety of the Western world and NATO nations did was build a standing army for Ukraine and basically build it up from the ground up and arm it and train it. By the way, I got to say, Andrew's video was fucking brilliant. He just texted me. I should call him.
Is no. Vladimir Putin didn't do any of that.
Putin is doing...
People are reading the wiki and seeing the start of the Ukrainian-Russian war happen before today and acting like they learned something new.
The right thing. He's taken out the Syrian mafia.
It's not an invasion. They can easily fake a war.
Ну це просто весело, це типу як будь-які інші фейк-ньюс.
So what are the most important items that you need right now?
Helmets and bulletproof vests, certain kinds of medicine.
Потім речі, які дозволяють там не замерзнути, типу спальників.
For the record, this is why I was fucking saying, like, it's important to do humanitarian aid in Ukraine and not just fucking guns. Because, like, there's average fucking Ukrainians out there that are not getting that fucking help. Not getting enough help.
Карематів і так далі. Теж те, що може знадобитися як цивільним, так і на фронті.
These people funnel money into Azov and have for years, and even scary, have MMA and youth programs that breed more fascists, and they've held their festival in both Ukraine and Russian Federation. Yeah. Like, I think one of the biggest problems in this situation is that, first of all, everybody go like the video, watch the video. Brilliant. Once again, Channel 5. Really fucking, you know, doing an incredible job. Okay? The other thing I was going to say is that, like, people just fucking think because Russia has inappropriately and falsely used denazification as a propaganda tool, that people think that, like, this is not a real thing. Like, that what I'm talking about here is not real. It's not going to be a problem. And it isn't, or as if it wasn't a problem so far. Literally still on Azov Jesus. Bro, you only come in here to fucking complain about Azov Battalion. Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna be honest, like, this is the most despicable fucking attitude that people have in the chat. They literally bring it up, defend it, and then when I fucking push back and talk about, like, the long-term consequences of such things, they turn around and they're like, oh man, I can't believe you're still talking about this. It's like, dude, you're the one who can't shut the fuck up. First time, what the fuck? First time I've heard you really talk about it today. Yeah, I don't really talk about it as much anymore. You know that Jake from that video was arrested in Turkey for covering the Kurdish fight against Turkish forces? I'm not surprised by that.